It's May, and this is the Library Roadshow. On the show today, authors, Little PIM, and tasting history. Welcome to the May edition of the Library Roadshow. I'm Mary Stein, and this is a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. This month, the library is brought to you by the letter W, the number 20, and the concept of in and out. If you've got a toddler at home, pick up your new issue of Press Start, Ready, Set, Read, and have fun. It's stealth learning. Finish strong for the school year. Don't forget that with Homework Louisiana, you have access to free online tutors till midnight, every night. And related to students, please, 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 please take the little bit of time and effort required to update every single one of your kids' library cards and select the borrowing status you want for your minor child age 0 through 17. Otherwise, we'll have to block them on June 1st by a new state law. Jan Risher of The Advocate is our special guest for the Special Collections Lecture Series. She'll answer some of the more interesting questions behind Curious Louisiana, Stories from The Advocate. There's a lively selection of virtual author talks this month, including a program on Edgar Allan Poe with best-selling author Robert Morgan, moderated by LSU English Department's own Jerry Kennedy. And Boo Milton returns with Right Time. Good programs in person and online from the Career Center, and Small Business Service continues its open office hours each Thursday afternoon or by appointment. Get moving with new offerings in Hive class or in person with Tai Chi and any of the other activities taking place around the parish. Garden Discoveries feature daylilies with expert Clare Fontenot, while master gardeners delve into orchids, accessible gardening, and pet-friendly gardens. The Farmers Market delivers the goods on Tuesday afternoons, and cultural activities range from Kids Orchestra and Shakespeare in the Library to the Civic Orchestra, the Baton Rouge Concert Band, and heavy metal. STEM Fair, the big summer reading kickoff, takes place at the main library on Goodwood on Thursday, May 30th. This is a fantastic program for kids, teens, the whole family. And summer means Harvey Rabbit and friends. Mr. Tim and Miss Laura will get our summer adventure off on the right path. Read all about it in this month's issue of The Source, available in print and online at ebrpl.com.
Free access to books, audio, and library resources are just a few of the benefits available to you when you get a library card. Need free access to a computer? You get that. Want free access to premium digital resources like Mango Languages and lynda.com? You get that. Need to book a meeting space? You get that. Heck, you can even check out a telescope or use a digital printer with your library card. If you live in East Baton Rouge Parish, pick up your free library card from your local branch library today. Premium access to everything the library system has to offer is waiting for you.
Library card holders in East Baton Rouge Parish have made excellent use of online language tools like Mango Languages, Pronunciator, and Muzzy for years. But we never had something designed for the littlest kiddos. And they're the ones who learn new languages the best. Well, those days are behind us. Welcome to Little PIM. It's time to find out more in the digital download.
Little PIM is an award-winning language teaching method designed just for children from ages 0 to 6. It's part of the Mango Languages suite the library also offers. There are 12 languages available, including Spanish, Mandarin, French, and English as a second language. The short 5-minute videos hold children's focus so they can begin their language learning journey on their own. Child-friendly themes of colours, shapes, counting and foods make it relatable. Hearing and repetition of the 360 foundational words and phrases with Little PIM, voiced by native speakers, helps them recall, reproduce and apply the new sounds. Kids also love the playful panda who guides them. So their first association with language learning is fun. It's ad-free, quality screen time that you can feel good about. For more language learning resources for kids, check out Lote for Kids. You'll find that and Little PIM in the digital library at ebrpl.com.
We think this is a great companion to Mango Languages. I'm sure that families will be able to use this at home, and early learning centers might want to give it a try too. Let's shift gears now and go beyond the stacks.
We're here at the Main Library at Goodwood to celebrate the culmination of our One Book, One Community series with the author of Tasting History himself. Let's check it out.
I'll now turn it over to Rodnina Hart.
My name is Max Miller. I am the host and creator of Tasting History on YouTube and the author of the Tasting History Cookbook. And we are at the library in Baton Rouge. And we're going to be doing a talk about my book and the role of food and history and how they come together. And yeah, it's my favorite topics. I couldn't have done this 20 years ago.
No.
It would have been impossible because I rely on the collections of museums, of libraries, of universities that have been put online. So you can go online and actually see a first edition of Cookery Made Plain and Easy from the 1740s. You can go and flip through the entire thing. I basically started the channel at the beginning of the pandemic. I was furloughed from my job and decided I needed a hobby, something to keep me busy, and so I started the channel and just kind of took my passions of history and cooking and put them together and kind of hoped that people would watch, and it turns out they did. What inspired me to create the Tasting History Cookbook was actually the publisher reached out to me and said, "Hey, we enjoy your channel. What about putting it down on a page?" And I said, "Okay, but you have to be patient because I've never written a book, let alone a cookbook, and I have no idea what I'm doing." And luckily, my editor was wonderfully patient. And I worked with Anne Folkvine, who is, her name is on the book because she was just so important to it. I have a lot of historic cookbooks.
Okay.
I have a lot of, I've been super fortunate enough to make a lot of friends who are in the historic cooking community. So I don't know if anyone here has heard of Ken Albala, who is, he's just phenomenal. He's kind of the first person to make an entire career of just being a food historian.
Yeah.
So libraries, for me, I mean, since I was a little kid, have played a huge role in my life. Not only is it a place to be, but it's a place to learn, and learning is my favorite thing to do in the world. And so just being able to pick up books and nobody remembers microfiche, I'm sure, but microfiche used to be my favorite thing in the world. Looking at old newspapers and just, I mean, I could sit there for hours and just devour them. Yeah, just having a place to go that doesn't cost money and that you can learn, it's invaluable. So there will be a period very soon where you will not see my kitchen, and then it'll be a new kitchen. And I don't know where I'm going to film yet, but I might be going to my parents' house in Phoenix for a few weeks to film a few episodes there. And I was thinking maybe the Bananas Foster flame should happen in your kitchen, Mom. You have tall ceilings. We live in a house from 1952. Our ceilings are like right here. And I'm like, I don't think I can do that.
Find out more about One Book, One Community at readonebook.org or find lots of other programs at ebrpl.com.
Such a great way to end our One Book, One Community series. Max stayed for hours signing books and visiting with attendees, and he's welcome back anytime. Stay right there. After the break, Patricia Husband, Assistant Library Director of Operations, joins me for a chat right here on the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that preparing children to enter kindergarten is good for us all. That's why we created Press Start, an early learning initiative that provides a free activity booklet every month that explores early literacy skills through play and interaction at home. Get a library card. Sign up for Press Start. at ebrpl.com/kids.
You're watching the May edition of the Library Roadshow, everything you need to know about your local library system. Now, if you've recently driven down Perkins Road or Scenic Highway, you might have noticed that there is lots of steel going up on both the north and south sides of the parish. Patricia Husband is going to tell us all about it. Okay, Patricia, this is a very exciting time because you are juggling two construction projects, one just off Perkins Road in Rouge and one at our current Scotlandville branch. What is happening?
So our south branch at Rouge is being constructed right now. It's a new build, and so it's pretty straightforward. We have walls up, we have the roof decking on, we have the steel beams up, and they're starting to do the sheathing on the exterior. They've poured the north parking lot. They're getting ready to pour some additional parking lots, and they're going to start doing some interior wall finishes.
So it looks like a building now.
Well, because it is a building.
And it's a building designed around that legacy oak tree.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
All right, so that's pretty straightforward, a new build, because it was just a matter of clearing out the land, protecting the tree,
Yes,
and then erecting things.
right.
Scotlandville's a little bit trickier since we're already on site with an active branch. So what's happening there?
So for Scotlandville, we are building what we're calling our archives. It's going to be about a 6,500 square foot building. And once it is complete and everything is done, we will be storing a good bit of our collection there. And so sometimes we have items that don't circulate all year round. They circulate at special times of the year. And so this will give us a chance to free up some space in our existing buildings, but still keep our collection complete and whole. And so what we're going to do right now is we're building the archive building. We're going to temporarily move into that building and use it as a small library for the Scotlandville area while we renovate the entire larger building.
The real library.
The real library.
Mhm.
And that building is going to get an expansion, a slightly larger meeting room. It's going to get a little bit bigger children's area. It's going to get a dedicated teen space, which
With
is
a
going to be an
door.
extension, yes,
Yes.
with the door. And we're creating a special place for the Black Heritage collection. And as you walk in, that's one of the things that you're going to see. It's going to be a showcase where you're going to see directly into the Black Heritage, and it'll draw your eyes there and hopefully draw you there so
Mhm.
that you can enjoy all the collection and the information that we have at that location.
So that is a trickier operation, as I mentioned. And to me, the best analogy is when a faith community, they build the gym, they go have their services in the gym while they erect the true sanctuary or temple or church building, whatever it is, and then they move there. So that's kind of like phase one, phase two. Phase one won't take that much longer because, man, I've never seen a building go up that quickly.
No, it's going to be finished probably late this fall. And so once it gets finished, we're already making plans to move
Mhm.
in and pull our collection, our most popular items. We will have computers there.
Mhm.
We'll have a little place for children's and teens. We won't have meeting rooms available while we're renovating the Scotlandville branch,
Mhm.
but we will have some basic services in the archives building. It's a
And-
much smaller place.
And when we renovated Greenville Springs and Jones Creek, also the meeting rooms had to be used for the deployment of the construction. So we weren't able to do programming there either. This is not a new special thing.
No, this
Um,
is actually, in some ways, it's better because with with Greenville Springs and Jones Creek, we were in part of the building
Yeah.
while they were renovating the other part. So you could
Right.
hear the hammering and the
Oh,
sawing
and
and
the
the
mess.
noise and the
Right.
drilling and things like that.
Right.
In this situation, we'll be in a separate building, and so there'll be a little bit of separation. And the other benefit to that is that since they have the whole building to themselves, the contractor, whoever it will be able to do the renovation a little bit faster
Right. It'll
because
be
they
much
don't
more
have
efficient.
the patrons in part of the building.
Right. And
So-
it won't be like at your house, oh, I'm going to fix the living room now and I'm going to kind of work out of some other room and now I'm switching places. It'll just be straightforward and a much simpler, more efficient build. So I'm
Right.
looking forward to that. So the timeline for Scotlandville, as you said, is the end of this year. Will be moving into the new, fresh archivy building.
Right.
What about South? Get a lot of questions since it's a brand new build.
Well, they keep telling me the end of December is going to be the completion date, punch list done,
When we get the
everything like
key.
when we get the building, and then we still have to wait for the furniture to be installed, the shelving to be installed, the collection to be placed on the shelves, and getting the staff in there and settled in. So it's not going to be a January 1st opening.
No, but we'll hopefully be in.
We'll get
working
working
on
on
it.
it as soon as we can get the building,
Okay.
and then we'll be opening a month or so later.
Now that we can see the roofs and the walls, people will finally, truly believe that these projects are
Yes.
happening. After the break, author Clare Castleberry. All that and more coming up next on the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that supporting the education of students is good for us all. That's why we provide access to live, in-person, online tutoring through Homework Louisiana, make available free test preparation tools through Learning Express, plus reference tools for all ages. Get a library card. Get free education at ebrpl.com/homeworkhelp.
Welcome back to the May edition of the Library Roadshow. My next guest is a Louisiana author and fellow librarian. New Orleans-based Clare Castleberry grew up in the swamps of Louisiana, and she started writing at a very young age. She quickly developed her passion as an author. Clare is best known for her work in the Southern Gothic horror and crime genres. Her latest book, entitled Forbidden Gardens, is a standalone follow-up to Azalea House, released in November 2021. Clare Castleberry joins me now by phone. Clare, how did you actually get your start as an author?
Hi, my name is Clare Castleberry, and I got my start as an author when my parents bought me a typewriter and set it up in their closet. I was obsessed. I got published in a children's anthology when I was 11, and I never stopped. I started ghostwriting in my 20s, and in my 30s, I took the plunge writing under my own name and broke in writing short stories.
What is Forbidden Gardens about?
Forbidden Gardens is a Southern Gothic dark romance story about balancing what society expects of us and what we truly desire. It's essentially a possession tale, and it explores the shadow side of humanity and how, if we embrace it, we can truly know ourselves and find strength and achieve a more balanced life. The story follows the narrator, Marianne, as she tries to flee from a dark past and the spirits that haunt her. But when she's able to come to terms with this, she begins to find her true self.
What inspired you to write this book?
I drew a lot of inspiration from just the atmosphere of the South. It was a huge influence for me. Forbidden Gardens in particular is set in New Orleans, and that's always just an endless source of inspiration for me. I'm from a really small town in Louisiana, just outside of Port Vincent, and my ancestors owned a boarding house. It's called the Castleberry Boarding House, actually, and it's still standing. It's on the National Register of Historic Places. I dug up some articles about it, and my imagination just led the way.
Clare, what advice would you share with new and aspiring authors?
I tell aspiring authors just to read and write as much as they can. Take advantage of the library. That's what I did when I was growing up, and it was just a huge help to me. Keep notebooks, keep finishing stories no matter what. That was the best piece of advice that I ever got, and that was just to keep typing the end as much as possible.
Where can our viewers learn more about you and your work?
You can learn a lot more about me and my work by checking out my socials. I'm on Instagram and Threads as Fimbionic007 and on Twitter, Substack, and TikTok as Fimbionic.
Thanks, Claire. Your library system offers programming for everyone. We have programs about books, we celebrate occasions, and we introduce you to new things like music.
I'm Maylee Samuels, and I play the mountain dulcimer. And we are having classes at the library to learn how to play the dulcimer. This is what we're going to play this week. Oh, One the Saints. Let me play it. Out and back and out and back. We're here at the Fairwood Branch Library. We have a wonderful librarian here that's been so helpful to me. And we're going to learn how to play the dulcimer. We're going to learn how to hold it, how to strum, how to read tablature. You play by numbers, so if you can't read music, you don't have to read music. I teach you numbers and the shapes of the frets, and we'll learn a tune by that. So we'll learn simple tunes, but then a little bit later we'll learn how to play chords and sing with the dulcimer. All right, that's what we're going to play today. The dulcimer is an easy instrument to play. A lot of people who are hesitant to play in the guitar or a banjo can do very well with the dulcimer. Rather than reaching behind the fret, you put your hand on top of the fretboard and you play the melody on the first string so you can see what you're playing. So it's very easy to play simple tunes. Then you can get very complicated. You can play simple tunes or modern tunes. You can play Led Zeppelin. Joni Mitchell played the dulcimer. Cyndi Lauper played the dulcimer. Dolly Parton plays the dulcimer. So there are all kinds of music that you can play. Once you start, a whole world opens up of music. If you lift it up, you'll lose the sound. The dulcimer doesn't have a lot of sustain like a piano or a guitar. If you pick up your finger, you'll lose the sound. 4, 2, 4. Let's do it again. 4, 2, 4. Again. 4, 2. And then the other, last week we played 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. We're so lucky. I think the parish has done a really, really good job with the branch libraries and the neighborhood libraries. They're well lit, they're friendly, they're quiet, they have good parking. The library has just, the library catalog or whatever, monthly newsletter has allowed us to connect with the public, connect with people. I'd never have met some of these people that have come to play the dulcimer with me. So it makes a nice setting, it's easily accessible, we feel safe here. And in the neighborhoods, this one right here, I like this one a lot because it's central. People from Zachary, from Gonzales, from downtown can all get here easily. Do, re, mi, fa, so, something. Help me out, musician.
Now, in addition to attending terrific live programs in the library, you can listen or even download music on Friegel, Quello Concerts, and Medici. And our new ArtistWorks platform will even teach you how to play an instrument. Check it out. All you need is that EBRP library card. Stay right there. You're watching the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that making things is good for us all. That's why we have makerspaces at 4 locations and a 3D printing service at the main library. The makerspaces have a variety of tools and equipment to enable both creative and practical projects. This includes 3D printers, sewing machines, audio-visual gear, and much more. Get a library card. Get free access to makerspaces at ebrpl.com/makerspaces.
You're watching the May edition of the Library Roadshow, a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. Now, they say everyone has a book in them. However, it's a rare person who actually takes the time and effort necessary to write that book. We recently hosted a room full of these motivated author types at Authors Row.
I am Tammy Moore Harrison, and today we're at the Jones Creek Library for Authors Row.
These events like Authors Row are valuable because, one, it's exposure to the community and also a potential to network with other writers and authors in the area.
I've been writing for 20 years. I have done 20 years worth of Author's Rows. The best thing about the Author's Rows are communing with other authors and trying to convince new readers to read your books. If you don't put yourself out there, you don't sell. And sales are not high here usually, but people will pick up your cards and then buy them later. Maybe they'll drop you a review. You never can tell about that. So you have to be out here, even if you only sell one book. You have to be out here and give out a lot of cards. And so that's what makes it worthwhile. And it's wonderful that libraries take the time to do this for us.
So this is my second year at Authors Row. I'm glad to be here. When I seen the email, I'm like, oh yes, I definitely want to get back into it. Events like these are great just because you can, branch off, you can get exposure, you can see all of the different types of authors that they do have just, within Baton Rouge, and even, branching off. I know some people do travel inside, in town. However, I wasn't aware that they had this many authors. We go to different events and you see people, hey, I wrote a book, but you don't realize how many are actually in town, maybe even your next door neighbor, until you come to these types of events. Not only do we get exposure to, the different types of authors, there's also, courses and classes that they hold to help people publish, books to get them better with writing poetry or just getting started with writing their first book. I was having a conversation with the lady. She was like, you wrote all those books and I just wrote one. You got started though. That's all that matters. If you can get started, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. It could be as simple as, hey, I wrote a book. You put a picture on it and that's it. That's all that matters. As long as you can get started, that's it.
If you've got a book in you, you should write it, one, just for yourself, to get it out, and because you never know what it might turn into. It's one of those things, you keep it in your head, you never get a real sense for it. But once you've got it on the paper, then you can start to manipulate things and see what you've got. So just put it out there, take notes. Just like I used to do when I used to do stand-up. Just you have the thoughts there in your head during the day, driving around, doing whatever. Write it down. You never know what it might turn into later on.
Special thanks to author Danny Heitman for sharing his own expertise with our budding writers. And be sure and check out BiblioBoard as a potential platform for publishing your own work. And now for today's contest. Visit the library's Facebook page at facebook.com/EBRPL. It's your last chance to show off your culinary creations based on our One Book, One Community series. I wish we could smell them on Facebook, but you can at least show off the finished dish or the dirty dishes. That's facebook.com/EBRPL. And while you're there, enjoy. We're not your grandfather's library anymore. What's coming up on the Library Roadshow in June? Summer reading, of course. Thanks so much for joining us on the Library Roadshow, and remember, your East Baton Rouge Parish Library is open 7 days a week at each and every one of 14 branches, plus 24/7 on the web. Check us out at ebrpl.com.